Hi everyone, my name is Leanne and today I'm going to be telling you about all the bookish stuff that I picked up while I was in America. I don't know if it's the lighting or what, but I feel like my hair is looking so much darker. Like it's looking such like a darker blonde. Do we need a trip to see the hairdresser? Okay, that's not related to anything. So at the end of March, me and my boyfriend were on a trip to the US. We had a few days while we were in Washington, DC, and then we had like a full week in New York. And I wanted to talk to you about some of the bookshops and some of the bookish goodies that I picked up while we were in America. I have been doing little highlights of the bookshops that I went to as well over on my Instagram account. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, please go give me a follow because you'll be able to keep up with bookish stuff in between videos. And on things like while I'm traveling and seeing bookshops while I'm on holiday, you'll be able to see those a lot sooner than I talk about them on the channel. I picked up a fair amount of goodies. I didn't go crazy because obviously I had like limited suitcase space. But yeah, let's talk about the bookshops that I went to. So I went to two bookshops in Washington, DC. The first of those was Solid State Books. And I loved it there so much. It was one of those independent bookshops that just had such a community feel to it. And I think looking around, they had kind of lots of posters and flyers for other things and events. And it just had this real kind of community vibe to it, and it felt really like fantastically curated. They had a little place by the till to get coffee as well, and for the whole trip I was thinking I don't want to buy like loads of books. I already have loads of unread books on my shelves. There's a pretty big haul coming for you soon as well. So at this stage of my trip, I was like, I'm gonna wait and see kind of what space I've got for books. I don't want to buy loads of books right away. So I only bought like 3 stickers while I was there. So I got this TBR pile sticker, this like disco mirror ball one because like it felt like a Taylor Swift reference and I liked that. And then I also got this Spill the Tea sticker as well. It was about a 20-minute walk from the bookshop to my hotel, and I wanted to support the bookshop more. Like these stickers were, I think, $3 each, so I wasn't spending like a huge amount of money in there. So I decided to get a hot chocolate from their little kind of cafe area so I could support them a bit more, and it would keep me toasty on my walk back to the hotel. The other bookshop I went to in Washington, DC was called Politics and Prose, and this was a really kind of bright store. It was really well lit. Like I don't love bookshops that are like super dark. That was really well curated as well, and I really enjoyed browsing there, but I was still kind of in the stage where I didn't really know how much stuff I wanted to pick up. Like I didn't know how much like souvenir shopping I was going to do. Like there was a fair bit of the holiday left and I just didn't want to fill up my suitcase immediately. So I didn't buy anything in there. Although there was this Taylor Swift mug, which I appreciate is not actually bookish merch, but I had to resist this mug so much. Now, I know I've just said that I didn't want to take up too much space in my suitcase too soon, but when I saw this, which is this like build your own free time bookshop, like mini model thing, I think I saw this in the Library of Congress gift shop. It felt like such a special thing to pick up, and at some point me and my boyfriend will try and put this together. I will probably need his help because I'm not that good at like building things and fiddly things and yeah. But I just thought it was so cute. And there will be pictures on my Instagram when I finally decide to build it. And then the bookshops in New York. The bookshops in New York were so good. And like, I didn't even get to see all of the bookshops that I wanted to. I definitely saw the ones that were like my biggest priorities to go to, but oh my god, there were so many amazing bookshops. I'm gonna start with the 2 that I went to in Brooklyn. So the first of those was Books Are Magic. This was such a good store, and I would describe the kind of books that they have as very much kind of female leading, covering a range of kind of commercial, book club and literary fiction. Like there was a lot of hot girl books in there, you know. In many ways the curation of it reminded me a bit of Book Bar in North London, if you know that bookshop. There were 2 branches of Books Are Magic and I only went to one of them, but you may well know them for their kind of, I think it's quite iconic, the like Books Are Magic mural that they have painted on their stores. The only thing that I picked up in there was this jumper. It says Books Are Magic, Brooklyn, New York. And when I tell you, this is one of the comfiest things that I own. I'm obsessed with it. I never want to stop wearing it. I can't remember how much it was. I think it was somewhere between like $35 and $40. So that felt like a pretty significant purchase for just one store. And I also got a cute little bookmark from them as well. Now, I felt like I was behaving so well, like I was being so restrained. But the other bookshop I went to in Brooklyn was called The Ripped Bodice, and it is a romantic bookstore, and it is one of the most beautiful places I have been in my whole life. It was just incredible, and I have not spent like that long like browsing each shelf, like each and every shelf of a bookshop. Like I spent so much time looking through the books in this shop, and it's like queer owned independent bookshop focused on romance in Brooklyn. The decor is amazing. Like they've used books as the decor, and it's very floral and pink, and it's just amazing. And the bookish merch that they had in the Ripped Bodice was amazing. Like I was trying to be so restrained. Like I could have come away with so much more than I did, and I do just kind of wish that I'd bought more. So they had amazing bookish candles, and I picked up 2 different kinds. The ones that I was completely obsessed with were these Briarwick, like romance themed candles. So the scents of these candles were all themed around like romance tropes, and there were so many of them I wanted, and it was trying to kind of weigh up the scents versus like essentially what is just put on the label of what trope they represent. And like I definitely understand why certain candles were paired with certain tropes. Like there was a sports romance one, and one of the scents in that was I think like freshly cut grass, so that like makes sense. The one I decided to get because it was kind of the perfect crossover of the scents that I like and a trope that I love was the meet cute candle. So this one smells like coffee and muffins and witty banter, and I can confirm, yeah, it does. So this was $18. And then they had these book themed candles, which come in a deceptively large cardboard container. They did have like tester ones so you could like smell them and see like the size of the actual jar on display. So I wasn't like duped or anything like that. Like I knew how big it was. But like, yeah, if you compare the size of this to like the box that it comes in, there is quite a difference. I decided to get the binge reader candle, which smells like sweet vanilla milk and honey. Really looking forward to like a cozy evening to light these. Oh, I can't remember if I said, but this one was $13. I picked up another sticker while I was there as well. So this one says, in my bookworm era, can I please have some advice about what I should do with these stickers? I know lots of people put stickers on their Kindles, but I'm just worried that it'll get really grubby. And I just don't know if I'm a stickers on my Kindle kind of gal. Like, I just don't know if I'd like to keep my Kindle white and like really clean and pristine. I'm also wondering, like, thinking about getting a new Kindle. And I'm like, oh, I could put them on my laptop. I would definitely put them on like my personal laptop, not my work laptop. But I think just putting the stickers on tech, I don't know, there's just something about it that worries me. Like, what if this piece of tech breaks or becomes outdated and I replace it with something new and then I don't get to enjoy those stickers anymore? I've just got real commitment issues with these stickers. So maybe I should put them on like my book trolley, but then I do kind of like my book trolley being kind of clean and pristine. I don't know. If you've got any advice, please help a girl out. The Ripped Bodice is when I decided to actually buy some books. So I picked up The Wishing Game by Meg Schaefer. I feel like this book has been following me around. I mean, it is published in the UK and it was in this like really beautiful hardback, and I think it's coming out in paperback soon. So maybe I just should have waited to get it in the UK, but I just really felt like this book was following me around. I was seeing it everywhere. I'd been seeing it like around the place even before I went to the US. Like, I feel like there was something about this book that was just calling out to me, and it felt like books are a great souvenir, so I wanted to pick this one up. I don't actually know too much about the plot of it, but I'm getting like light, magical, cozy fantasy with a love of books and reading, and I could really do with that kind of cozy right now. And then I know this is not a romance book, but they did have a like everything else section that had stuff that wasn't romance in it. The romance book that I did pick up was The Breakup Tour. Now, this is one that has been published in the UK, but I don't like the cover of it. And then when I saw this US cover, which essentially looks like it's got Taylor Swift on the front, right? I loved it so much. I thought it was so beautiful. So it was coming home with me. Oh, they are definitely leaning on the like Taylor Swift element. A rising star musician has a second chance at love with an old flame she remembers all too well in this swoony romance. And then I also got this bookmark from The Ripped Bodice as well. I could have bought so much more in that shop. Then we went to the Strand. The Strand was like overwhelming with the amount of books that there was in there. I think they say that they've got like 18 miles of books in there. Like it was multiple floors. There were books like everywhere. They had this incredible secondhand section, which if I lived in New York, I would spend so much time and money in that secondhand section. Like I would spend, and I could have, if we had more time on our holiday, I could have spent hours trawling through those shelves, looking at all of the secondhand books. And it was another one where the bookish merch was just like 10 out of 10. And I could have bought so much more than I did. I got 2 pins. One was this like black bookshop pin, which I thought was super cute. And then the other one was this green typewriter. I can't remember how much they were. I think they were maybe like $10 to $12. I picked up a couple of postcards as well. I always like to pick up postcards when I go on holiday as like souvenirs that don't take up too much space. And I got this A Well-Read Woman is a Dangerous Creature postcard. And this postcard, which is just like a kind of black and white postcard of outside the Strand bookshop. I did pick up 2 books there as well. So I got this Puffin Chalk edition of Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. You may know that Alice's Adventures in Wonderland is one of my favourite books of all time. It's probably my most reread book, and I have quite a few different editions of it. I don't want to kind of go wild and collect it in absolutely every beautiful edition there is, but this was such a cute small one, and it was a great souvenir and a way of buying a book without it adding to my unread TBR pile. I also bought something that made me feel a bit silly. So they had these amazing blind date with a book things where they had these like fantastic illustrations and descriptions of the books on the inside. And I'm just going to show you like the outside packaging of it now. I picked up this one that said a slow burn rom-com set in New York City, and I had kind of these high-rise buildings and like pizza slices and hot dogs, and I was just like, yeah, that's the perfect thing for me to pick up as a souvenir for being in New York. And I also wanted to like cut out this image and frame it as like a memento as well. Now the risk with getting a blind date with a book as someone that reads a lot of books and also works in publishing is that you may end up with a book that you have already read. And I don't know what the policy in the Strand was, like if you could like keep your receipt and return it if it was one that you already had. But I didn't open it until I got home and was in London because I wanted to like it to be the surprise for when I got home. It was The American Roommate Experiment by Eleanor Armis, which not only do I already own a copy of, but it's also published by the place that I work. So I don't know what to do with this now because it's a different height to like the Spanish Love Deception and the Long Game, which I have on my shelves. So I don't want this to be the copy that I keep and read, but I just don't know I don't know what to do. Does anyone want this? I also got like a generic The Strand bookmark with my books, and I think that's in a book at the minute. I don't know where it is. The only other bookshop that we went to that I bought something in was Books of Wonder, which was a specialized children's bookshop, and it had an incredible curation of kind of contemporary children's books, but also some really beautiful classics. There was like a specific Wizard of Oz section, but they also had this amazing collection of like first editions and old rare books. Some of them were worth like hundreds and thousands of pounds, and they also had these amazing art prints, some of which were worth thousands of pounds. And it was just so fascinating to see all of those old rare editions. It was almost kind of like being in a children's book museum of sorts. Now, by the time we went there, I did not have space in my suitcase for more stuff, but I did really want to support them. So I picked up this card, which was just like a bookshop, and I will probably like frame that and put it somewhere. They were also giving away a bookcase outside the shop, and I desperately wanted it, but obviously I couldn't take a whole big bookcase home with me. There were a few bookshops that we went to that I didn't end up buying anything in. So one of those was the Drama Bookshop, which is focused on kind of predominantly plays, and it had a lot of the like Broadway productions that were on in New York. There was a lot of kind of the scripts for those, and also just like loads and loads and loads and loads of plays. Like I've never been to a bookshop that had as many plays as that. It was a really cool spot. They did have some really cool like bookish stickers, which I looked at, but by this point I had enough stickers, and I've already told you about my commitment issue with stickers, so I didn't need any more. But they had this amazing like book spiral going around the roof, which was really cool. We also went to another bookshop called McNally Jackson, which I didn't love this bookshop as much. It didn't feel as kind of like community focused or curated as some of the other bookshops we went to, but my boyfriend really loved this bookshop, and it was actually there that I saw the amazing like American editions of Claire Keegan's books, and it took all of my self-control not to buy those because I saw them in a few other bookshops like after we went to that one, and I really wanted them. I really wanted them. And they had like a whole Irish literature section, which I thought was really cool to see, especially because it was during the Irish Readathon, but I didn't end up getting anything there. They had a lot of pens in there. We also went to somewhere called the Alabaster Bookshop. Again, I didn't get anything in there, but it was kind of one of those really small bookshops where everything is like piled really high, and it was all kind of secondhand, and a lot of the stuff in there was kind of like older, and I feel like it had a more kind of literary non-fiction skew to it. And we of course went to Barnes and Noble. I didn't buy anything in Barnes and Noble. My boyfriend did buy a book in there. It was like a history book, but Barnes and Noble obviously had like a kind of Waterstones feel to it. So that is it. They are all the bookshops that I went to while we were in the US. I know there were definitely some bookshops that I didn't end up going to, and if I ever end up going there again, I would love to see those ones. If you have any thoughts on anything I've mentioned, do leave me a comment down below. If you have any suggestions for what I should do with my stickers, please let me know. If you want to let me know you're here but you don't have anything in particular to say, please leave me the apple emoji to symbolize the big apple. That is it for me today. I hope you're doing well, and I will speak to you in my next video.